Thanks for listening to the AZ12 podcast, proudly presented by Little Caesars. Code 1099 bundle, classic pepperoni or cheese pizza, crazy bread, and 2-liter soda. Code LCFREECC, free crazy combo with any pizza purchase. All right, we're obviously starting early here because this game sucked and Denver sucks. But guys, going into this game, Kobe Thiel and Tyler Warden, there was a couple things that we needed to see in this game, and the first thing was I wanted to see Braden Burries get going. Braden Burries did exactly that. I get that it's Denver, but sometimes you just need to see the ball go through the basket. That's exactly what happened there, fellas.
Yeah, I mean, 100%. I think that Tommy was really smart this game about getting Jaden some much needed rest time, particularly as we get into like the conference slate, just having the ability to get him with fresh legs, and that means that Braden Burry gets his chance to shine. He's got 13 field goals so far with 4 minutes left, and I doubt we'll see him for the rest of the game. So he's leading the team, in field goal attempts, and that's exactly what he wanted. I don't think that the shooting was the most efficient that we would have liked to have seen. But, at the end of the day, basketball is one of those sports where the more and more that you shoot, the more confidence you get,
Right.
it's just going to pay dividends down the road.
Kobe, I just needed to see him be aggressive, and that's exactly what he was in this. I didn't even really care if it went in or not. You need to see him really take kind of that approach that he did.
Yeah, I thought he was very engaged on the defensive end, which was nice to see. But I also thought that this was the first game that I think he realized he's better than the guy across from him.
Yeah.
Even in some of the games that they played against lower level competition earlier in the season, he just didn't look so sure of himself. But today you could tell really early in that game, he was like, oh, yeah, the guy across from me, he can't guard me. And he was doing exactly what he wanted to. So that's a good thing to see.
Yes. Now, let's talk a little bit about it. Now, again, playing against Denver, the last dinosaur, and the thing that also in this game is that with the Yvonne, listen, that's a guy that isn't really exactly lacking confidence. Yvonne's a monster. Yvonne is a there's going to be some games where he puts up numbers, some games where he doesn't, but even against good teams, guys, he finishes. He plays good. He plays really good defense. He rebounds. He just does a lot of different things out there.
Well, it's like we said back in June when he first committed here. He's very similar to Pelle Larsson, and he's just a longer kind of version of him, where he's got a very polished European style game. And I think that Ivan is one of those guys where what you're going to get from every night, regardless of what the stat line is, right? He is going to have just an intensity, a tenaciousness defensively. And he has an ability to get to the rack that, I think we might not have given enough credit for on the front end. But at the end of the day, Yvonne is a professional talent on this team. It's European professional talent, right? And the development here is that Tommy gets to a place where he could be in the NBA. But again, look at what we did with Pella. Look at what he did with Pella. And that's what you're really getting out of Yvonne. He's just going to be a consistent factor, and that's something that you need when this team gets into March.
Yeah, Kobe. And the thing about him, too, is that he's sly when he's out there. It's not like he's coming down and it's not like he's coming down there and he's like, he's going to break people down with like crossovers and step backs. He just gets to where he does. He's efficient. And you can tell, too, like when people were saying they're, panicking, oh, this team's not going to be the same without Carter Bryant. They had a plan. They knew what they were going to do. And Yvonne fits exactly into that. And again, like La Jolla, Dennis Walsh says, Yvonne's D cannot be understated in this game. Benwin White said the same thing to me earlier.
No, I'd have to agree. I actually was kind of thinking earlier today that Yvonne is one of the best freshman defenders I've seen us have in quite a while.
Right.
He's very smart on the defensive end because he's very good at taking his gambles when it makes sense. He's very good at being in the right position. He's very good at doubling at the right times. He just makes a lot of plays, and he tips a lot of passes, plays that don't even convert to steals, but he tips a lot of passes in passing lanes. And I know we were talking about how sly he is on offense. It's a little clunky at times, but he gets to his spots and he hits those shots in the lane, so you can't really complain. He's a very good player. He's professional.
All right, now let's talk about Dwayne Aristode. Now, the thing with Dwayne is, and we talked about this before, I need Dwayne to be aggressive. Again, I don't really care if the shot goes in or not. I need Dwayne to be aggressive. Dwayne was aggressive in this game. He was looking to get his, and, he made, what did he make, 3 3-pointers or something? I think 3 3-pointers, if I'm mistaken. 4 field goals. That's what I need. Even if the ball isn't going into the bucket, I need him to be aggressive as well. He's got to be a contributor for Arizona, and Tyler, he did that. Hopefully they can just build on that.
Yeah, I think a lot of times as fans, we kind of lose sight of how much basketball has been played by each of these guys, right? Like Koa Pete played 4 straight years of highest level in Arizona basketball, in which he went to 4 state championships, won them, went on to play on the club circuit, went to go play with Team USA, right? He's had a lot of minutes under his belt. Dwayne Aristode just hasn't had that many minutes over the past year and a half because of the injury that he had his senior year. I think at times he needs to just remember that he was a borderline 5-star, that he belongs on the court. And I think that that's one of the, I don't want to say downsides of the way this roster is constructed this year, but in a sense, one of the downsides that ADO and Yvonne can immediately step in and kind of play that role. And I'm sure that's taken some, toll on him mentally, just from the perspective of having that confidence. But at the end of the day, like, he is a very gifted, very physical player that once he's had enough time under his belt, he's one of those guys that's just going to have kind of an exponential growth curve. And he's going to be, a real stud on this team eventually. So, just being able to get him the minutes we got him tonight, 15 points, 5 of 10 shooting. He has 4 threes now.
Yeah, I'll take it.
Just happened. Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah, I'll take it. And again, the thing about him too is that you can just tell as well that he was a 5-star kid for a reason. Before he broke his foot or whatever, whatever the heck he did. He was ranked as the number 8 player in the country by 24/7. Didn't play for a year, dropped obviously. So that's obviously something, but he's got an immense level of talent. He should play in the MNBA if that's going to be, if he stays healthy. And so those 3 guys getting, the newcomers, obviously getting them going, that was obviously a really, really good thing. Also, let's talk about Tobe Awaka. The man is just, we talk about girth. That guy, he's another guy. He's just a monster, man. If you put him out there for 20 minutes, he's going to get 15 rebounds, and he's going to be throwing some heads around out there.
Girthy heads, Mike?
Yeah, girth head. Yeah, it sounds like a rock band. Girthy heads. They're going to come compete on 4th Avenue.
Yeah, look, the problem with Tobe in terms of like the next level of his basketball progression is I don't see his game having the ability to translate at his height at the NBA level.
Yeah, no chance.
But Tobe's one of those guys that he's going to play in Puerto Rico, and he's going to have 20 and 15 and be in like MVP conversations because he just has a level of physicality to his game that is top 1%.
For sure. And he's going to be Puerto Rico. How about the Dominican Republic? He's just going to go there and take an ASU player mid-season spot. So but Kobe, he's just somebody that comes in there and he's just good, man. That's the best way I can put it.
Yeah, I think I've said it before, but I'm not sure how many other teams in the country have a big man that comes off the bench that's quite as good as Tobe. He could start for quite a few teams that are highly competitive, probably some that are even ranked. He's a very good basketball player. It's a blessing they got to keep him around to play the role he's playing, and he really is a difference maker off the bench. He really sets the tone when he comes in.
Yes. Okay. Now, Tyler Broker says about the AP cowards. Let's hear you. You got a rant? You got a rant for me, Mr. Tyler Warden?
Yeah, so I candidly have not looked at College Poll Tracker yet, so I do not know if they've come out with the breakdown. I'm actually going to try to pull that up right now and see if they've actually done it. I will say this: the problem. Oh, it is up. Okay, here's my biggest problem with the AP poll. Right, you have Dick Vitale, Steph Davis, Tony Paul, Kevin Sutts, Jeff Nyberg, Shane Metlin, Randy Heights, Toylon Brown. Right, all of them have them Arizona ranked 4th or 5th in the country. What that tells me is that you are not paying attention to college basketball, right? There is no argument out there in which you can reasonably say that Arizona has the 4th or the 5th best resume in college basketball.
There's no argument.
There's not a single argument. And I can understand an argument where you say Purdue is number one. They have beaten top 25 teams. They deserve the right to stay in that seat. I can empathize with that argument. What I cannot empathize with is Dickie V going from 8 to 4 or Randy Heights going from 12 to 5, because it tells me that you just are disconnected to the game. And if you are so disconnected to the game that you are just missing, it's a flat miss, then you need to give back your ability to vote for that. Because whether or not we like it, the AP poll does matter, right? It does have an implication, and it's a discredit to the game when you're screwing around. It's bewildering how you can miss as often as you miss, right?
Well, and I think the thing that's also frustrating about it, too, is like you said, it's an important job that you're not taking it seriously. I mean, Dennis says, Dick Vitale hasn't watched college basketball in 10 years. I mean, how many guys on Arizona do you think Dick Vitale could name?
Two.
Jaden Bradley and Koa Pete.
Yeah, and here's the thing, too, is like, Dickie V, it's tough because like we all have that kind of like emotional connection to Dickie V. He's got, he's had cancer. I get that, right? And so I don't want to throw arrows directly at him, but it's just like I would give anything to have the ability to vote in a top 25 thing. And I'm just a random guy, right? There are people out there that would revel in the opportunity. You look at Jason, right? Jason was talking the other day about how he's putting together his ballot for the All-Americans, right? And he takes it very seriously because it is a serious job. So my thing to the pollsters is take the damn job seriously and like actually spend 10 minutes compiling a poll.
Right. Yeah. Now, again, and I'm going to say this as well. Dick Vitale has been great for the sport. There's no doubt about it. Whether you like him or not, he has been a great ambassador for the sport. By all accounts, he's a good dude. But that also doesn't – this also isn't a Lifetime Achievement Award at the same time, though. You don't need to sit here and say that you don't need to sit here and, basically just give the guy the position because he is. Oh, Jeremiah Dibble, the great Jeremiah Dibble, 999 Super Snap. Burries has arrived. Mike Luke Goat sharing the wealth after the first half and over cashes. Very much appreciate Jeremiah Dibble, the great Jeremiah Dibble. Yes, but Kobe Alfiel, these guys got to take this a little bit more seriously.
I've kind of been of the opinion for the past couple of years that the AP poll needs to be redone on how it works, because a lot of the voters in football and basketball, they're local writers, so they're covering their own teams. So once you get like a time like this, like say you're writing for like the local Indianapolis newspaper, you're covering Purdue. You're covering Purdue football and basketball, but then you're also trying to watch 300 teams to rank them. It's just kind of a hard job in general. So not only do people not take it seriously, they're also working tirelessly to work their own jobs. They're covering their teams. So I think in general that the AP poll just needs to be reworked. Who can vote? Who has the responsibility to vote? And they just need to designate fewer people that actually have the time to watch the sport, if that makes sense.
All right, let's talk about the Big 12 and where Arizona is. I am telling you, Jeremiah Dibble next week, my friend. We'll get you on next week. That'd be a lot of fun. Okay. Houston's vulnerable. I thought this before the season. I thought that they lost. I thought they lost a lot that I don't necessarily know was replaced. I don't know that Jawan Roberts was there 6 years. He was really good for what they did. I don't know that you replace him with Cenac. LJ Cryer was obviously good for what he did. He was a guy that could make plays off the bounce. Uzon hasn't been great this year. They went into overtime against a Syracuse team that was missing its leading scorer, and they had a difficult time against Auburn. There's no shame in that. But if Houston is the barometer for the Big 12, I feel pretty good about Arizona circling that barometer.
Yeah, at this point, I think I'm more concerned about Kansas than I am Houston, if I'm going to be completely honest about it. What I've seen through the first 5 games out of Kansas tells me that right now that is a better team than Houston. Now, look, when we get to February and we're talking about the conference slate, who knows? But you're right. Milos Uzon has not been good. Tugler has not been good. I don't think that they've got the depth that they've had in years past. Right. And it's not, it's not a referendum on Kelvin Sampson, because reality is like they're still a top 10 team.
Right.
I just don't think that they are this lock number 1 seed that they have been in the past. So to your, original question of kind of where does Arizona sit within the Big 12, I think it's very hard to put it in an ordinal ranking of 1, 2, 3, 4 right now. But I can tell you that there's a tier A, and I think Arizona sits at the top of tier A.
Right. Kobe?
I need to kind of see them once they get to conference play, because I know last year they lost when they went to this tournament in Vegas. They lost all 3 games. They lost a game in December. I think they went into conference play with like 4 non-conference losses.
Houston?
Then they went, yeah. If you look, the players tournament last year, they went 0-3. They went to overtime in all 3 of those games, but they went 0-3 in that tournament.
Man, I guess I don't remember that, but okay. Wow. Okay.
If you look,
That's amazing.
Yeah, last year they struggled kind of out of the gate, and then they kind of figured it out come conference play. I want to say they went like 18-2 or something in conference, but they definitely lost at least 3 or 4 non-con games, and they kind of figured it out. I mean, I'm just pulling up their schedule. Yeah, they lost to Auburn last year. They lost to Alabama. They lost to San Diego State.
Can you really rank those like ordinally though?
No.
That was awesome. Ordinal. I haven't heard ordinal in probably like 20
I couldn't
years.
tell you what that word means.
As it was coming out of my mouth, I was like, I hope I'm saying the right thing.
No, you are no, absolutely. No, you said it correctly. It's absolutely correct. I just haven't heard that. Yeah, elite hats on the post game, and Harry Lex. You know how we roll around here.
I appreciate that. Hat game's important, but I feel like we have to kind of, because they've done that before. Like I saw, they had 4 non-con losses last year. We kind of have to see if they kind of round it for me. Kelvin Sampson's probably the best coach in college basketball. You can argue about that, but that's just my opinion. So we'll see.
Well, he's definitely not the best, but I think he's probably second.
I'm not huge. I will say I'm not huge on some other guys. Like, I'm not a huge Tugler fan. I know he's an awesome defender, but the way he plays, he can foul out in any game.
Yeah, let's talk about Houston for a second, because they're the big dog, and Denver sucks. You guys want to hear me sing Denver, the Last Dinosaur, real quick?
Please,
Denver,
let's do it.
The Last Dinosaur.
It's been stuck in my head all day, Mike.
Dude, I'm telling you, man, that song is like, it doesn't get out of your head. I've had a lot of people tell me that. It's my public service announcement. Jeremiah Dibble, look up this song right now. Denver, the last dinosaur. He's my friend and a whole lot more. Denver. All right, yeah. Okay, now let's talk about Houston. I agree with you. Tugler, the thing with Tugler is that he is Tugler can't score. Tugler has no offensive game whatsoever. He never will have any offensive game. Dibble, look it up right now, please. I beg of you. And then you've also got Cenac next to him. Cenac is good, but at the same time, he's also a freshman. You've got Emmanuel Sharp, who I like, but he's also basically a standstill shooter. You need to have, Uzon needs to play like an All-American for them to be able to be where he's at, and he just hasn't been that so far. The Flemings kid is really good. He's way better than I thought he is. But and like you said, they don't have a ton of depth as well. I mean, I just look at their roster, I look at Arizona's roster, and I think I'm back in the A on that.
Yeah, I mean, like, once you go past the Tugler, Uzon, Fleming, Sharp, Cenac, who do you have? Like, I don't know who is coming off of the bench that rivals ADO or Tobe Awaka or Dwayne Aristode. So, yeah, I think that Tugler's biggest issue is 100% his offensive game. He's one of the least efficient, forwards in the country. I think that the Kingston Flemings is good. He's legit, right? And I think that he's one of those players that, like, if he can elevate, that team can go as far as he develops throughout the season. If he turns into, one of these incredible first-year guards that can average 15, throughout the season, then yeah, I mean, like, I think they're a legit Final Four contender. But nothing that I've seen so far tells me that this is that good of a team. And unless, as a reminder, they beat Syracuse, missing their best player in overtime. Right. Their only other big win was to Auburn by 1. And if we're just going to be honest about it, like, Bruce Pearl left for a reason. Like, if Bruce Pearl was sitting there thinking, oh, I think this team's going to win a national championship, he's sticking around for one more year. Right. Sure. So, like, I mean, I know we have Auburn coming up, and I could be eating my words here in a few weeks, but, like, I don't think Auburn's kind of a world beater this year. They're Sweet 16 potential. So, yeah, I'm just not that convicted in them.
All right. Yeah. No. Okay. So anybody that's curious, this is their show. We're doing 7 shows this week, so this is the one show where we don't have any ads. But I'm going to say this though. My friend Tony from Bridge Tech Communications. What do you think about Gonzaga beating Alabama by 10? Kobe L actually, I think, made a fairly good point where. Alabama doesn't have any bigs. I think that's the problem, is that they don't have any bigs. And if you have a team that has big men, they are going to be able to beat you up. And that's kind of what Gonzaga did in this game. I look at it and I think to myself, I'm like, I think Arizona, I'll put it to you like this. If Alabama's going to beat Arizona, it's going to be because they're going to be launching like 500 threes in from like the Dead Sea, and they're going to make all of them. Otherwise, I think Arizona's going to destroy them.
Yeah, what's made Alabama really good over the past couple of years is, they're always going to have a million guards. They're always going to shoot a million threes. But they also had Grant Nelson, who was awesome.
Yeah.
So they would stick him in the paint, and he would get like 13, 14 rebounds a game. He's the only big guy they're playing, but he'd play like 35 minutes a night, and he was awesome.
Right.
This year, they don't have a guy like that this year. So it really is just like 7 or 8 guards, and they're going to chuck threes. So I know, like Graham Ike, he just had his way down there because they didn't have anyone that could guard it. It was just throw it down there and see what's going to happen.
Yeah. Tyler?
Yeah, I think that the problem with Alabama, their biggest strength is also their biggest weakness. And their biggest strength is the reason that I don't think that they will be able to win a national championship under Nate Oates. Yeah. And it's because they play way too fast and they shoot way too many threes. And the ability to string together 10 games throughout March and April in which you are, winning all but one of them, let's say for the conference tournament, with that recipe, it doesn't work, right? I think that Alabama on any given night can beat any team in the country in any given year. But that's because they'll shoot 40% from 3 and they'll put up 33 pointers, right? Well, actually better than that. Yeah. But it's the same thing that is going to prevent them from being able to be a national champion.
Now, I will say this, and I think who is it said in there as well? Tommy's left testicle says, Feline is insanely good. Feline is awesome. Feline is one of the 5 best point guards in the country. He is.
He's awesome.
Yeah, he's fantastic. But like Jeremiah Dibble said, you don't get somebody. You're not. Mark Sears isn't walking through that. Mark Sears isn't walking through that door. There's. So I look at it and I just don't know how they deal with a front court of Koa, Krivas, and Tobe. I think that that's just a problem. And Tyler, to your point, why I really like this team as well is that Arizona, if the game slows down and they got to get into a rock fight, this is the first Tommy team, maybe last year to a certain degree, but this is the first Tommy team where it's like, okay, we can play any style you want and we can win that game. That's what's exciting about this for me.
Yeah, I mean, it sucks because for these post games, you sit there and you think well, what is my takeaway? What's kind of the narrative that I'm thinking of? And my biggest narrative was I don't know what this team's weakness is right now. And it's going to come out, right? I mean, one of the ones that scares me the most is probably injuries and the potential for injuries. Like ADO, when he had that slip and, had the growing, there was oh God, that really changes things, right? But just as a unit right now, when they're not playing their best and they're still finding ways to win slow, grinded out games, they're finding ways to win high tempo games. They're just really damn good. Yeah. And this is the most well-constructed Tommy team that we've had. And it is, in my opinion, the best constructed team that we've had in at least a decade. This Denver game, I mean, I made a joke on Twitter about what I would do if we shut them out because we got to the under 16 media timeout.
And they had scored.
And the game was over. Then the game was never closer than it was at the under 16 timeout. So it's just, it's a really, really, really good team that you need to continue to improve week over week. But come March, I mean, anything is possible.
Right. But we're also not a team that's relying on having to make 15 3-pointers because here's the thing, and here's what I always tell people. This is different than the MNBA. In the MNBA, And Kobe Thiel, I think, finally gets this. In that the MNBA, these are professionals. They shoot. That's what they do. You know, you don't expect them to go cold. These are 18 and 19-year-old kids. They're going to have off nights. Kobe Thiel, you admitted that you were wrong on this and that it's far more important to have bucket getters. What made you come to this conclusion finally after a couple years of being very stubborn?
I honestly think the answer is probably more of in the middle of where both of us stand, frankly. I don't think it's the Alabama. I don't think the Alabama way is the way to go. Like I know we all watch Alabama, Illinois. They shot so many threes that it actually hurt them because they could fly by those Eastern Euros whenever they wanted. And they just chose to keep chucking threes.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I think you do have to take a certain level of threes in a game to keep the spacing and to keep the paint unclogged. So I think it's a happy medium. Like the game where they shot 5 threes, even Tommy was just kind of like, yeah, I don't want to see that again. So I think it's a happy medium. I think they're at a good point right now with what they're shooting, like 15 or so a game. That's probably a good number for them.
AZ Wildcat fan who's still licking his wounds from last year, saying that Trey Townsend was better than Tobe. But he did say that he said he makes a very good point there. He says seeing Sean Miller on TV makes me realize how close we were to having the Red Line and Pack Line brothers at the same time. Oh my gosh, that would have been amazing. Yeah.
Unfortunately, Texas is losing to Arizona State at halftime.
I think Texas kind of stinks, to be honest with you. I think it's going to take him a couple years.
I think eventually they're going to be really good under him, but
I agree.
He needs to get those recruiting pipelines back. I think he's going to be able to kill it, and unfortunately, I think he's going to kill it in like the Phoenix area recruiting wise. But
do they still have is ASU is Pig Williams or whatever? Is he still killing it?
I think he had a good half, yeah, but his nickname's Pig Glizzy, which is kind of funny.
Yeah. Yeah, all right. Pig. Oh, that's actually really, really
Pig
good.
Glizzy. That's a great nickname for a wing. It's fantastic.
Yeah, I like that one. That is a good one. Okay, now looking around the rest, let's talk about Kansas then here for a second. Kansas to me is weird though in the Big 12 because you got Darren Peterson. But I'll be honest with you, I got some real concerns though. Anytime a dad is getting in there and basically telling a coach when his kid's going to play and when he's not going to play, I don't like that, fellas. That's a major red flag for me at this point because I actually like the roster. The roster is a lot better than I thought it was, but they have to have him at the center of attention. And if your dad's basically pulling him out every couple games, that's it.
You know what that tells me is that tells me that we're near the end of Bill Self.
I agree.
Because Bill Self 10 years ago would have said, go fly a kite. We're not putting up with this. Bill Self now, after, a couple of heart
down
procedures and down years, and like, I'm kind of shocked that he's getting away with some of that personally. Yeah. But I'll say this, I've been impressed with some of the other components on Kansas outside of Darren Peterson. I think Darren Peterson's probably one of the 5 best guards in the country.
Right.
But, Flory Badinga, Bryson Tiller, Trey White, like I've actually been
Council's good.
Impressed. Yeah, Council's good. What's his name? McDowell off the bench.
Right.
He's pretty good. So it's like Kansas, I actually – last year we were all saying Kansas is extremely overrated. This year, Kansas might actually be underrated.
Yeah, but it all comes back to Peterson because the thing with Peterson's a monster. I mean, when he plays, he and DeBance are the 2 most talented dudes in the country when they play. I mean, but he's got to play, and I think unlike DeBance, you have to worry about what Peterson is up to. Now, let's talk about a couple of the other teams in there. Iowa State. So far, they've actually been pretty good. They've been a little bit better than I expected. The foreigner from Wisconsin is really good. You've also got Lipsy was kind of whatever to me. You got Joshua Jefferson. It's just a tough team. Otzelberger or whatever his name is, he's a really good coach. They're tough. I just think Arizona's got more juice. That's the difference for me.
I think it's kind of actually, when they do play, it's going to be an interesting matchup. Koa on the foreigner from Wisconsin, so Milan. I don't remember how you pronounce his last name.
Is it like Milan Milovojevic or something?
I know
like
it's
that?
Mom. I know they call him Mommy. I know their fans call him Mommy.
It's definitely a cold soup
something.
name.
But that's kind of
like how we say Ivan instead of Karchenkov.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
That'll be an interesting matchup just because I think Koa will be able to get whatever he wants on the inside because Milan's really skinny, but Milan is really slippery on the perimeter. He might get loose for some threes. That's kind of scary.
Right.
But I'm not. Iowa State's they're good. They're good. I don't think that they're in that top tier. If that makes sense.
All right. Tell me if I'm wrong. I think BYU is the. I mean, and losing the pot smoker. By the way, if you're going to BYU and you're smoking weed and getting caught on a DUI, come on, dude. I mean, don't be that dumb. You're not going to get back in at that point. BYU's just got elite front level talent. They got 4 dudes that are as good as anybody. The problem though is then they got a bunch of white guys, and that's that one to me is interesting. What do you think, Tyler?
I mean, I kind of like their white guys.
Yeah,
I think
well,
Richie
I
Sanders
didn't say
is
the white
great.
guys can't play. I'm just saying they got a lot of white guys.
Yeah. I like their team. I think that some of the losses that they've had between the DUI and the injuries, I'm curious what this team is going to ultimately end up being.
Right.
I think that DeBanza's obviously a freak. I don't think that DeBanza and Richie Saunders and Robert Wright are a trio that are going to take this team to a Final Four. Now, I also say that fully acknowledging that I'm kind of dismissing all of our competition that we're going to be playing this year. But I think that they are a team that they're playing extremely well offensively right now. I think they're playing extremely well defensively right now as well. The question is sustainability for me.
Yeah, and can they do it? I mean, how long can they do it? Because the Kennard Davis guy. By the way, do you know what a Kennard is, Mr. Tyler Warden? Because Kobe L. Field didn't.
Yeah, it's like a tricky situation.
Yeah,
right?
it's kind of a disingenuous. It's kind of a sleight of hand. It's a Kennard, but his name's Kennard Davis, so he's pulling a sleight of hand with his driving and all of that. Get it? That was funny. But they needed him because, again, I'm not saying that he's great or anything, but you had a long athletic, he was a long athletic guy that they had on the wing, and you don't have that anymore now. So again, while these white guys aren't that bad, but when you got Dallas Baker or whatever his name is and a couple other guys, that's not really the same. All right, Tyler Broker, you're my guy. I'm going to disagree with you here. He says, that sounds like a freak cop asserting his power than someone posing a danger to society. The problem, though, is you've also got to know where you're doing this. It's your surroundings.
Provo, Utah.
It's Provo, Utah. They're not going to let you off the hook there. They're very clear. It's kind of like with the Brandon Davies thing. Yeah, I mean, every one of these guys is probably having sex, or premarital sex on other teams. But guess what? At BYU, you're not allowed to do it. So
the entire school has an honor code. And at one point in time, up until 4 or 5 years ago, you could not even have facial hair without being following the honor code. You had to have a special card that mentioned it was like religious reasons why you had facial hair. They have an honor code that they expect you to follow for every student.
BTA 2003 puts it really well. You just got to go to Georgia or SEC land, and they'll embrace it. I'm not even putting them down. I'm just saying that you got to know your surroundings. That's all.
Oh, Nate Oates would hide it. He pretty much hid the one guy like
wrong
shooting
place, wrong time. Yeah,
accomplice. Yeah.
Here's
the thing too: is like, I just when you are gonna smoke weed and drive, like, you can smell that immediately, right? So like, it's not just a BYU honor code thing. He could have done that anywhere in the 50 states and it's still going to be a DUI. Like, we shouldn't discount what the crime actually is just because it went to BYU. Like, look, you want to partake? Go ahead and partake. I'm just saying, like, maybe don't get behind the wheel of a car, right? I'm not going to go rip 5 shots at dirtbags and get driving.
Well, right, and the thing is too is that it wasn't like he was in a car accident. That's why it wasn't like he was like pulled over for swerving or anything. Now, here's something that's very interesting here. Jeremiah Dibble is going to be getting 2 tattoos if Arizona wins the national championship. He said he would get a back the A tramp stamp, which we're very, very excited about. He's going to get an A right over his butt. And he's also going to get an AZ-12 tattoo when we win it. Yeah, that's awesome. Very much appreciated. Kobe L. Fields said he was going to get a AZ-12 tattoo as well. This is true.
I don't know if I said AZ-12, but I have been thinking about getting a tattoo recently.
Yeah, 9.99. Very much appreciate you, Jeremiah Dill. Yeah, so that's what it is. And Tyler, no, you're good. I mean, that's just the yeah, he was in a car accident. It wasn't like some guy just like said, "Hey, buddy, come here for a second. Let's see if you're high."
I see Meisner saying it's because Brandon Miller didn't miss a game at Alabama. Well, they also have Greg Byrne as their AD, and Nate Oates is pretty much one of the high. It came out like 6 months after the fact.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, that was
it happened in like September, and we didn't hear about it until like February.
And then I still love too about how little they thought of it when like you have you literally have a guy dead. And Nate Oates just says, "Well, my guys were just at the wrong place at the wrong time," you know,
with like text messages talking about like
bring me a gun, stuff. I need to kill somebody type stuff. It's like
and like there's like 6 of your roster players there.
Right.
So
yeah.
A couple of years ago, when Alabama was playing Arizona up in Phoenix, I happened to be seated right next to the Alabama tunnel, and after a few cold beverages. And a couple of
red hot
shoeys.
beer or ice cold beer.
It was ice cold beer, and a couple of shoeys egged on by the crowd. I was yelling accomplice at Nate Oates, and that is firmly what I believe that he is. If I'm going to be completely honest about it.
Oh, of course. I think it's insane what he got away with. I mean,
it's nuts.
It's nuts. You literally had a guy. I mean, you had in these text messages, you had a player on the team telling Brandon Miller, "Hey, these guys are acting up. Bring me my piece." And then so he brings the piece, and then the guy shoots somebody, and then it's like, oh well, you know, boys will be boys type thing. It's like no,
didn't Jim Boeheim kill somebody, or was that John Calhoun? One of them killed somebody.
Wasn't it? Oh, did somebody? I didn't know about that. Look this up right now.
There was a car accident. I'm gonna look it up.
Yeah.
There was a car accident, and then afterwards they were like, "Oh, no, it's not his fault." But
the thing with Byrne though is, man, like wherever you go, man, he's gonna let you do what you want to do, man. That's there's not gonna be a lot. Oh, it was Calhoun. Interesting.
Yeah.
But was it just like an accident, or was he like sipping on some of Grandma's old cough medicine?
Oh, I'm going to look this up. But if I remember correctly, one of those two got into a car accident in which there was shady. It was Boeheim. Yeah, it was Boeheim. In which there was shady.
Yeah,
there were some questions on what exactly happened, is my understanding.
Interesting. I didn't know about that. So Boeheim got into a. How long ago was this?
2019.
Interesting.
All right, here we go.
All right,
Family of man fatally struck by Jim Boeheim agrees to settlement. This happened in 2019, February 20th, 2019. Crash on an icy highway. He had been a passenger in a car that skidded on Interstate 690 and hit a guardrail. Boeheim was driving home and swerved to avoid the car and hit him. I don't know why you would need to settle if somebody else skidded off the road and you were trying to avoid them and you hit them.
Yeah, that's.
I just remember it was sketchy.
Yeah. By the way, Harry Lex with the comment of the chat sounds like a typical KO weekend, swerving on the interstate. You know, just trying to get home. Yeah. So
wait, unrelated. Tyler, you said that you were the shoey guy at that game.
Yeah. This is actually a great story. I don't want to derail the line. This is a phenomenal story.
What do you got?
So Arizona at the time, if you guys remember, it was like all time out. It was a tight game. The camera gets on me, and I was with a couple of my buddies celebrating my birthday, and I was like, I'm telling you, if the camera gets on me, I'm doing a shoey. Camera gets on me, I was like, all right, I guess I'm doing it. So I did the shoey. You know, fans go nuts. The players are all looking and laughing, everything. We go on a run. We go to the under 8 timeout, and they do the 50-50 raffle. My buddy and I won the 50-50 raffle, took home a few $1,000s, and then they put the camera back on me. I was like, all right, it's round 2. So that's my alter ego. I'm shoey man when I'm at the Footprint Center.
That's impressive stuff there, man. We got a viral legend at this point.
I remember that because I went with my buddy. We went up for that game, and we thought it was great. Funny story on that too. There was a guy, we sat like in the front row, like the middle section. There was a guy sitting in like the handicap area, like in the folding seats. Mm-hmm. He had because ASU played Northwestern the game before us. So the guy in the handicap section had his iPad out and he was watching the Atlanta Hawks play while Arizona State was playing basketball like on the court. So I have a video of like Arizona State like running a transition play, it looks like, and he's just watching the Atlanta Hawks on his iPad.
You know, I don't know that I've ever met an Atlanta Hawks fan.
That was like a couple years ago.
Have you met an Atlanta Hawks fan? Either one of you?
No, that was like when it was like Trae Young was hurt, I believe. And then like the only good player was DeJounte Murray. And it was like you'd rather watch the Atlanta Hawks than Arizona State Northwestern.
Right. I mean, I've never met it. I don't think I've ever met one.
I can't think of one.
Have you, Kobe L?
I don't think I know a Hawks fan.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not sure. Yeah, that's interesting. Okay. All right. Now, so let's get back to this though. The game at hand. Arizona did what it needed to do in this game. I wanted them to go out there and slap some people around. They did just that. And I needed Braden Burries to shoot 20 shots or whatever it was. He did that. I also needed Dwayne to get going. And that's going to be honestly the priorities I have in this game are the same priorities I have next game as well. Just keep it going, keep those guys, because I don't honestly at this stage I don't worry about Jaden, I don't worry about Koa. I know what I'm going to get out of Krivas, Awaka. It's those guys right there that I need to keep. We just need to keep pushing this out there in an ordinal way.
Yeah, I mean, like, look, at the end of the day, we knew exactly what we were going to be getting with Denver. So this was a game of just managing it. We managed Krivas. He had 17 minutes. We managed Jaden Bradley. He only had 18 minutes. We were able to get Avon a lot of burn, Braden a lot of burn, Arrowset a lot of burn, Awaka a lot of burn, which is just going to take some more pressure off of Krivas. So I think we did all of the things that we needed to do. And we're going to do the same thing, quite frankly, on Saturday against a bad Norfolk State team. These are the games where it's just don't play with your food. Just get the job done.
That's a
Settle
great
it up by
I like
halftime. And let's just go to the next one, right? And then when you get Bama, we can talk Feline versus Braden or Jaden Bradley, right?
Yeah.
Like those are the games right now. It's like we need to survive to them and not trip up and not get hurt.
I tried telling Murph all off season. I said, "Hey, if Feline enters the portal, you guys should get him." And he's like, "I don't think he's going to be entering the portal."
He's pretty good.
He's awesome.
That's going to be. Again, I don't want to get away from this game, but the Jaden Bradley Feline matchup is going to be very, very, very fun to watch.
Now, do you think? But Feline playing for the Wildcats, I mean, that really kind of goes without saying. Come on, how good would that be?
I think my issue with him and the rest of Alabama's guards is they shoot so many threes that it's a detriment to their team. To where the Illinois game, if they would have figured out that they could fly by all these Eastern Europeans earlier, they would have won by 20 plus points. But it was to the point where it was like, dude, you can fly by this guy. Like, stop shooting deep threes over him.
Well, and that's what I don't understand about Feline too, is like when I watch him, he's quick. He's very twitchy. Like he reminds me of, Kyrie Irving, but not a flat earther.
Right.
But like,
that's a great comparison.
Like, but he settles for so many threes. It's like, I think that's just a problem with Nate Oates' offense.
Yeah, for sure. By the way, Kobe just sent me this video. It's very good. You should send this to Mr. You should retweet this so everybody could see it.
I'll retweet it and I'll say like as seen on the show because it's hilarious. Like they're playing and you see the guy just watching his iPad.
Yeah, it's disgusting. Okay. All right, so we got that. On this note, though, all right, we're going to be back with you tomorrow. I've had a very long day. I've been up since 4:30. I want to sleep, and we got a show tomorrow at 10. Very, very much appreciate the great Tyler Warden, future coach of AZ-12 Prep, and the great Kobe L. Thiel as well. You guys are great. Also, let's get those superstars. All right, we'll get one last more Denver, the last dinosaur in here. Okay. Denver, the last dinosaur. He's my friend and a whole lot more. Denver. And I don't know what the second is, but it's good, though. It's the last dinosaur, not the lost dinosaur. Come on, man. Come on. Get it right. Okay. Yeah, let's read these super snaps again. The great Jeremiah Dibble. Burries has arrived. Mike Luke Goat sharing the wealth after the first half and over cashes. You deserve this, Jeremiah Dibble. Bridge Tech Communications, our guy Tony. What do we think about Gonzaga beating Alabama by 10? Jeremiah Dibble. AZ12 tattoo when we win the Natty this year. Take care, boys. And the back the 8 tramp stamp. And back the Tyler and Cody, OC Bodybuilders. Woohoo! All right, guys, we will be back with you tomorrow at 10:15, my friends. For Tyler Warden, Kobe L., and Cody James Martin behind the scenes, I'm merely Mike Luke. We will see you tomorrow, TTFN.